Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Locks Don't Lie weekend preview show. I am your host, Tony Betts, and before we get to Tony Nascar and Tony NFL, why don't we recap our betting weekend that was? Another up and down weekend for Tony as he started out very hot on Saturday, hitting Chandler Smith plus 350. And he wasn't the only one to hit. Look at all these guys hit. You cash tickets with Locks Don't Lie. Shout out to everybody who tailed. Let's get another one this weekend. What started out very hot ended very cold as we finished minus 0.2 units on the weekend. But we are very excited for preseason week 2 and Watkins Glen. And why are we excited for Watkins Glen? Because Tony Nascar has hit an outright at every single road course we've gone to this season. Sonoma? That's also
Suarez, the Mexican.
All day. Road America? That's Red Dog time, baby. The Indy Road Course? And we cannot forget about Coda out there in Texas.
Look at Sean. And standing drop kick.
We also have some preseason week 2 best bets from Tony NFL. Let's go ahead and get the show started. Why don't we welcome on our first guest here, Tony Nascar. Why don't you come on in?
Give me fire, give me that.
Hey, Tony. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Tony, how are you? Well, I'm great, Tony. How are you doing after this weekend? Well, I'm disappointed with how 2 consecutive Sundays went, leaving us in the negative each weekend. Not by too much. Still up pretty good on the season here. But, I'm ready to move on to road courses. I'm ready to move on to the Xfinity Series. I'm ready to move on to Watkins Glen, one of my favorite tracks. And Tony, like I highlighted earlier, you've hit an outright at every single road course we've gone to this weekend, including some weekend sweeps. Why do you feel like you have such a grip on the road courses this year? Yeah, I hate talking about it in this way, Tony, because I just feel like I'm going to jinx it. But I just feel like I have a good grasp on these road course races. I feel like year to year, you just kind of know who's going to be winning these races, running up front, who's going to be kind of running around the 5th to 10th range, who's just going to be a non-factor back there in 20th place. Over my last 3 years of NASCAR betting and playing DFS just as a casual, those seem to be, especially in DFS, the weeks that I can actually cash something, and in betting, the weeks that I come out mainly positive. I put that to the test earlier this year at Road America, putting 12 units on the line, came out plus 10 units. Shout out to Red Dog for hitting that outright for us, really giving us the boost on the weekend. A lot of head-to-heads cashed. I'm looking forward to Sunday morning when the head-to-heads come out so I can announce them on Twitter for you guys. Make sure you guys stay locked in on that Twitter for our official plays on Sunday and Saturday morning for the road courses. And I'm just excited to see what kind of racing that Watkins Glen can provide us. I mean, Tony, do you remember all the insane moments that Watkins Glen has provided us just over the last 10 to 15 years?
Jimmy Johnson may have a few bruises on his shoulders and a stiff neck tomorrow.
Regan Smith and spins him.
Yeah, bud, we'll get him.
Regan Smith. Off of turn number 9, several cars have gotten together a huge...
Oh, big crash in turn number 2. David Rudeman hard into the wall. He is upside down. Multi-contact in the S's. Kyle spins in turn 2. Casillas. Ambrose is in the grass. Battling for the lead and the win. A nudge, a push. Can Ambrose save it? Final corner.
Well, looks like an exciting weekend of racing at Watkins Glen. Tony, why don't you go ahead and preview our Xfinity race this weekend? You got it, Tony. The Sunoco Go 200 at the Glen, the Xfinity Series on Saturday. I am very excited to get back Xfinity Series racing. We are hot in the Xfinity Series. Just like last time we were on the road course, I got 3 drivers I want to highlight. We got some Cup drivers in this field, but I got 3 Xfinity regulars that I want to highlight to win this race. First of all, let's just get it out of the way. Junior
It's not the way it should be. It should be a different way to do it.
Motorsports, Justin Allgaier. Chill out. I'm not going to go over it much. Just got to put him down. Same reason I put down for him. A little bit of scratch at the Indy road course. He just always seems to be hanging out in 5th, 4th, 3rd. And if there's any sort of craziness, Ross Chastain. We could get a plus 2,000 Justin Allgaier cashing home for us. That's all I'm going to talk about for Junior Motorsports. We'll move on. I have Ty Gibbs and the road ringer, A.J. Allman Dinger. Now, if we pop up the odds behind me here, you'll see the names at the top, and you'll see familiar names. You'll see Cup drivers up near the top. Kyle Larson's racing in this race. What? Ty Gibbs is racing in this race. What? AJ Allmendinger's racing in this race. What? Cole Custer is racing in this race. What? Bill Byron is racing in this race. What? Ross Chastain is racing in this race. What? All guys you consider Cup drivers, all guys that are racing on the Cup schedule. The only driver that I've highlighted that's not on the Cup schedule, Justin Allgaier, but like I said, we're moving on. Ty Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger. If you sort the driver ratings since 2019, you see it dominated by the same driver each and every week. This guy, this grandson, is the real deal. No matter whose grandson he is, the boy can drive. Ty Gibbs, top of the driver ratings here at Watkins Glen again. And you don't see anybody near him until you get to Justin Allgaier down here out of the people who are racing in this race. So let's go back to 2021 and let's go back to last year's Watkins Glen race. As we take a look at their driver ratings, we get AJ Allmendinger bumping a little bit up towards the front. He's had a little bit bad of luck finishing second in his first race here in the Xfinity Series, second last year in the Xfinity Series, and then a 37th in between that. Got into a little bit of problems, but that's the race that he led the most laps in with 24, just got into a wreck. The Dinger's driver rating a little bit affected here by that 37th place finish in between these two second place finishes. You know me, it's a road course. It's the road ringer. It's AJ Allmendinger. We're hammering that Dinger line, even if he is a favorite. Give me some of Ty Gibbs, too. The kid's proven he can drive at any sort of track, taking lefts, taking rights. The kid's going to be riding up front. The only reason Ty Gibbs or AJ Allmendinger shouldn't cash for us, in my humble opinion, is if Ross Chastain happens.
If a driver got out of bed at night and kicked his toe on the bedpost, he'd go, "Where's that damn Ross Chastain at right now?"
Well, it's about time Tony Nascar doesn't waste our time up here when it's on the Xfinity Series talking about junior motorsports non-stop. We get it, dude. But I'm not even going to give you a chance to talk about junior motorsports right now. Let's move on to the Cup Series. Pop up the odds behind me, please. Who do you like in the Cup Series this week, Tony? Yeah, Tony, some names I want to highlight here are at the top of the list. You know we don't like favorites here at Locks Don't Lie, but you got to highlight the favorites at the road courses. Up at the top, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick. You're going to find them at any book in between 5 or 6 to 1 this weekend. Tyler Reddick has quietly dominated the road courses. If you take out that crappy Sonoma finish, he has an average green flag speed of 1.66. The dude has been unstoppable this year at the left and rights. And if you don't want me to pick and choose my moments and get rid of the bad luck for some drivers, up here at the top, we got Chase Elliott, 4.5 green flag speed. You just can't beat that at the road courses this year, and that's going to have an effect here at Watkins Glen. Chase Elliott, first career win at Watkins Glen.
Crowd roars. They're going to see for the first time Chase Elliott win.
I'm looking for this to be the Red Dog and Chase Elliott show all weekend long, just like it was at Road America. Well, Tony, 2 favorites, and you know we're not all about the favorites here at Locks Don't Lie. Please tell me you got somebody above 10 to 1 that you'd like to highlight. Yeah, Tony, I do have a couple long shots I want to highlight. One long shot that I know I'm going to put my money down on. Let me highlight the long shot that I just can't quite come to, and that's my guy that we talked about previously, the Dinger, the road ringer, AJ Allmendinger. He opened at 25 to 1. Congratulations to anybody who was able to grab that 25 to 1. Fortunately, my rinky-dink book opens odds like a day and a half later, so it was already down to 12 to 1 at my book at open. I can't take that Colleague car. I can't take AJ Allmendinger at 12 to 1, but I would love AJ Allmendinger at anything over 20 to 1 for sure. Hopefully we can get some good odds on a top 5, top 3, or even a top 10. I doubt it, though. The books are smart on AJ. The books know he's a dinger, he's a road ringer, and he's going to get it done, so I highly doubt it. But the driver I will be putting my money on at 12 to 1,
Suarez, the Mexican.
First in green flag speed at Sonoma, 6th and 7th at the Indy Road Course respectively, stalled out after driving through the field at the Indy Road Course and just kept running into bad luck at Road America, but kept driving up through the pack. Hopefully
Suarez, the Mexican.
can have a good qualifying effort, get us some good closing line value. If
Suarez, the Mexican.
starts up front, expect it to be Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and
Suarez, the Mexican.
up there. Make it a 3-car race this weekend. Thank you so much for that, Tony. Do you have any other little bit of information that you'd like to give us before you go here and I introduce Tony NFL? Yeah, Tony, I do have 3 drivers I quickly want to highlight that are a little bit farther down the odds board that I think we could get some good value on them pre-practice, pre-qualifying, and if we get a crazy race, the ticket could cash. Now, if you're into betting favorites and you're into betting NASCAR, I think this is the week definitely to be on the favorites, if any week. But let's go over some of the super dogs we got. We have 3 names right here that I'd like to go over. First, let's start here in the middle. Michael McDowell, 40-1. I just think 40-1 is a little bit too long for a driver who, if he qualifies well, is going to be hanging out from 3rd to 8th the entire race. If those favorites take each other out up front and we get some Watkins Glen craziness, we could cash this 40-1 and we could see Michael McDowell in the playoffs. Great numbers here on top 3, top 5s. Keep an eye open for top 10s when they release at your books. I really like these odds for Michael McDowell right here, top 3, top 5, and outright. Moving on, you see the other 2 drivers here, the RFK drivers of Brad Keselowski and Christopher Buescher. There's been rumors floating around and everyone's been talking about how RFK seemed to have hit something at a tire test at one of these road courses, and they came out at Sonoma and proved it with Christopher Buescher qualifying in 3rd, finishing in 2nd, and I think he could have beat
Suarez, the Mexican.
that race if he just got out in front of him in the restart. And moving on to Brad K. Brad K is always fast here at Watkins Glen. If you look at the numbers, they don't astonish you. They don't jump off the board at all. But Brad K got those 3 consecutive P2 finishes, always seems to be up front and just runs into problems. Look for those RFK cars to have speed. They seem to have hit something on these road courses. Both drivers need a win to make the playoffs, and that is all we've been hearing about for the last 2 months now. That's all we're going to hear about this week, and that's all we're going to hear about next week, especially at Daytona, when we could really get that upset cashing. Otherwise, that's going to do it for me here, Tony. I appreciate your time. I'll see myself out. You guys have a great weekend. Good luck. May the winners be yours. Well, thank you so much for all that info, Tony. I appreciate you stopping by. Now that Tony NASCAR is done, why don't we welcome on Tony NFL as he's going to go over some preseason week 2 trends that we're looking to hammer this weekend. Tony, step on in here. How are you doing after last weekend? Well, Tony, we had 16 bets over the weekend on NFL preseason week 1. We went 9-5 plus 1.21 units. Not a big splash or anything, but with the NFL, you'll take 1.21 units every single week of the regular season. I'll sign up for that. Let's move on to week 2. Go ahead and highlight some trends that you're looking at for this weekend. Thanks, Tony. The first game I want to highlight is tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got the Rams taking on the Houston Texans. I love the under in this game. Just looking at the number, looking at the trends, like I said last week, Sean McVay to the under in his preseason career, 10-5-1 now. Didn't work out last week, as I said on the preview show, it was 10-4-1. Add that loss to the column. We're going to ride the trend for the rest of the preseason, though. Reassess next year, riding the trend. Hit the under for the Houston Los Angeles Rams. Moving on to the Colts-Lions game. I really like the Colts, either the plus money on the money line or grab yourself some points in that matchup. And this bet is solely based on me, just like I'm sure a lot of you do. Watch the Pat McAfee show, and he was at Lions camp, and they were getting absolutely torched by the Colts.
How's it going, everybody?
I'll be looking at some of that plus money on the Colts money line. Buffalo, -4 at home against the Denver Broncos. Like I said last week, another trend I'm riding to the end of the preseason, even though it didn't work out last week. Sean McDermott against the spread, 10-5-1 in his preseason career. We're going to keep riding that for the rest of the preseason, reassess next year. And Tony, I just have 2 more games I want to highlight. I appreciate your time up here today. The 2 games I would like to highlight. First, I would like the Steelers and Jacksonville. I love Pittsburgh in this matchup. They got a 3-way QB battle for the starting quarterback. Obviously, Kenny Pickett is not in the battle to start week 1, but he's going to be going in there, and the boys are going to be playing all 3 lines. They're going to be going out there. They're going to be scoring points. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at what looks like plus money right now. And then my final game is the auto bet like we talked about last week, and it worked out. We're hammering it again. John Harbaugh in the preseason is an absolute animal. These Baltimore Ravens in his preseason career, 41-12 straight up, 77%, 37-15-1 against the spread. That's 69%. Nice. And since 2016, 21-0 straight up and only 2 losses against the spread, hitting at an 85% clip. Those are the trends I'm looking at for this week, week 2 in the NFL preseason. Tony, I appreciate your time. Tony, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate your insight, and I can't wait to see you for the rest of the regular season. Let's go ahead and wrap this show up with giving out our official picks for the weekend. All right, let's get started with the NFL card. Tonight at 10 p.m., we've got the Houston Texans taking on the Los Angeles Rams, and Tony Nascar said that he's hammering that Sean McVay under trend for the rest of the preseason. Sean McVay does not care about the preseason, so we're taking that under. Those boys ain't scoring points until the regular season starts. He likes the Steelers at plus 155 because they have a 3-way quarterback battle going there, and those boys are going to be playing all 4 quarters scoring points. We like the Indianapolis Colts plus 104 simply because we watched the Pat McAfee show, and those boys in Detroit were getting torched by that Colts offense all practice long. We'll take basically even odds here on the Colts money line. Moving on, we got a couple favorite spreads for you, as we hope those are the only 2 puppies barking this weekend. We got the -4 Sean McDermott and the -5.5 of the Baltimore Ravens. We don't need to say anything about the Baltimore Ravens. It speaks for itself. Sean McDermott, -4. Tony said he's hammering that trend, 10-5-1 against the spread in his preseason career. All the rest of the preseason, we'll see if it ends up working out for him. As we move on to our NASCAR picks, we've got a loaded NASCAR card here. As you can see, 2 Xfinity outrights. Ty Gibbs plus 300, AJ Allmendinger plus 400. Got a full unit on that. He's fading Kyle Larson and the other Cup Series drivers in there. He thinks the Dinger and Ty Gibbs' raw speed and talent can keep them up front against the Cup guys. And speaking of the Cup Series, moving on to the Cup Series, go bowling at the Glen. We have 2 units on Chase Elliott, plus 500, plus 525. Logged into a different book. Tony Nascar saw that plus 525 was a better number. Had to double down on Chase Elliott, who should be the favorite at this race. Got his first career win here at Watkins Glen, and it recently has been Mr. Watkins Glen. The way he's been dominating this racetrack, they're about to relocate Watkins Glen down there to Dawsonville. And just in case they're not ringing that siren this weekend, we got the Red Dog, Tyler Reddick, plus 650. Absolutely dominant in green flag speed besides Sonoma. Tony picking and choosing who he wants to be fast and where. Taking Tyler Reddick, plus 650, who's been looking solid at every single road course this year besides Sonoma. And then we got a full unit on a couple long shots here.
Suarez, the Mexican.
At 12-1. You know how Tony feels about
Suarez, the Mexican.
And then Christopher Buescher, 24-1. The racing gods are funny. This man's been trending on Twitter all week. Let's see if he can cash it home. And then his team owner, Brad K, 40-1. Good track history at this track. If RFK truly did find something in that tire test, 40-1 is not the correct odds for Brad Keselowski at Watkins Glen, and Tony's looking to get some good value on that. But that's going to about wrap it up here for the Locks Don't Lie weekend preview show. I appreciate everybody stopping by and watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that sub button so you do not miss an upload this football season. We have an absolutely insane football schedule going for this year in NFL and college football, and I'm very excited to bring you all of the content that we have to offer here at Locks Don't Lie. For Tony Nascar and Tony NFL, I'm Tony Betts. May the winners be yours. Locks don't lie.